While flying his surveillance mission in the Pacific Theater, some miles off the coast of Honolulu, a plane called the Green Hornet, which frankly, like many B-24s, was a pile of junk, crashed. 3 men survived. Louis Zamperini, who I've grown very fond of, he's an Italian and a runner, like myself. Alan Phillips and Francis McNamara. We will now refer to them as Louis, Mac, and Phil. Phil and Louis had flown many missions together. They were friends. Mac was new to the equation. Again, they were the only 3 survivors. Amongst the ruins, they quickly found 2 life rafts. Each raft would only hold 2 people. Small people. Most people that were on B-24s were about 150 to 155 pounds. Amongst the rafts were a couple of fishing hooks, some line, and some of the worst tasting chocolate on the planet, designed so that you wouldn't eat it too quickly. It was supposed to last you a while. Louis quickly determined they were 47 days from land if they weren't discovered. He quickly figured out how much each of them should devour on a daily basis. I use that word probably inappropriately. They would receive just a very small portion. He went to bed that night. Louis was responsible for distributing the rations the next morning. The last found none. Mac, the newcomer to the group, ate it all. He had to have it. That's one part of the story I didn't quite understand. Being an Italian, I didn't understand why he didn't throw him overboard, but he didn't. He loved it. 26 days later, 26 days later, they were discovered by the enemy. And they were strafed, not once, twice, but 6 times. The last time they tried to bomb them. And miraculously, in every sense of that word, not one man was hit. They lost one of the rafts, the other was riddled with holes. And this is where the miracle takes place. It required 3 people for me to be able to tell you this story, exquisitely written by Lord Hildebrand in the book Unbroken. Because one man had to bail the water. A second, Louis, elected to go into the water, shark-infested water, and repair the holes. And Mac, who had pretty much been comatose until this moment, started fighting with the sharks. He didn't survive. He survived long enough, frankly, for them to patch the raft. At the end of the war, Louis went back to Japan to let the enemy know they were no longer enemies and that he forgave them. This story is what sets the United States of America apart from everyone else. The men and women and family that support them, the men and women that fight for our freedoms, fight not just for what is right, they also fight against what is wrong. And they do that because, first, they love their country. They love what is right, what is wrong. Lastly, they love each other. And for that reason and many others, long ago I elected to start my day and conclude my day by thanking God for the brave men and women and their families that have elected to defend what is right and what is wrong. And so I will conclude, ladies and gentlemen, with this. God bless the men and women and the families that fight for our freedoms and fight what is wrong. And God bless America. Thank you and good morning.